Tori Spelling was born into Hollywood royalty, surrounded by money, power, and a last name that meant everything in television. As the daughter of legendary producer Aaron Spelling, her life looked glamorous from the outside, but behind the fame, things were not as perfect as they seemed. From her years on Beverly Hills, 90210, to family tension, relationship drama, money troubles, and very public struggles, Tori's life has taken many unexpected turns. And when her father passed away after leaving behind a fortune worth hundreds of millions, what happened next surprised a lot of people. Join us as we take a closer look at Tori Spelling's life, her family story, and the twists that shaped her journey. Born into the Spelling empire, Tori Spelling was born Victoria Davy Spelling on May 16, 1973, in Los Angeles, into a family name that already carried enormous weight in television. She was the daughter of Aaron and Candy Spelling, and she grew up with her younger brother, Randy, in a world shaped by fame, wealth, and image. Her parents came from Jewish families whose roots traced back to Russia and Poland, and even Tori's middle name, Davy, came from her paternal grandfather, David. From the start, her life seemed wrapped in privilege. She was raised in polished surroundings, went to the elite Westlake School for Girls, and lived in a world that looked glamorous from every angle. But the story of that glamorous life really began with her father. Aaron Spelling was not born into luxury at all. He came from much humbler beginnings in Dallas, Texas. He was the son of David and Pearl Spelling, Russian Jewish immigrants, and his father worked as a tailor. The family name had originally been Sperling before it was changed to Spelling after coming to the United States. Aaron was also the youngest of 5 children, so his early life looked very different from the world his daughter would later know. Still, over the years, he built one of the biggest careers television had ever seen. Aaron became one of the most successful producers in American television history. Through Spelling Television, he earned a record 218 producer and executive producer credits, making him the most prolific television producer the industry had seen. His name became attached to huge hit shows, and with that came major power and influence. He was not only wealthy, he was one of the men helping shape American television itself. That meant Tori was never just the daughter of a famous father. She was born into a family empire with a name that opened doors before she was even old enough to understand what it meant. And standing beside Aaron was Tori's mother, Candy, who helped complete the picture of the world Tori was born into, the mansion years and Tori's first steps in fame. Candy Spelling, born Carol Jean Marer, grew up in Beverly Hills in a Jewish home and came from a family that knew both success and setbacks. Her parents were Augusta and Merritt Marer, and she also had an older brother, Anthony. Her father was a salesman who built a chain of furniture stores. The business did well at first, but later failed because it expanded too much. Candy went to Beverly Hills High School and later studied at Chouinard Art Institute in Los Angeles. In time, she became known as an author, theater producer, and philanthropist. But the chapter that changed her life most began in 1968 when she married Aaron Spelling. He was 45 and she was 23. Together, they created a family life that was wealthy, glamorous, and very public. Their daughter Tori was born in 1973, and their son Randy followed in 1978. Both children would later appear in some of Aaron's productions, which showed just how closely family life and show business were tied together in the Spelling household. By the late 1980s, the family moved into a home that became almost as legendary as Aaron's television empire. In 1988, Aaron had the giant family mansion built. The house was enormous, measuring 56,500 square feet with 123 rooms in total. It included 14 bedrooms, 27 bathrooms, a beauty salon, a cinema, and even a 2-lane bowling alley. Outside, the grounds were just as impressive, with a swimming pool and tennis court. It was the kind of life most people could barely imagine, and for Tori, growing up there made the world of fame and luxury feel completely normal. She was not just raised around wealth. She was raised inside one of the most extravagant homes in Los Angeles, in a family where television power shaped everyday life. That world also shaped Tori's future very early. She wanted to act as a child, and Aaron made sure she had a path toward it. When she was just 6 years old, he hired her an acting coach. Soon after, she began appearing in small roles on television shows, many of them connected to her father's work and influence. She appeared on series such as The Love Boat, T.J. Hooker, Hotel, Fantasy Island, Vega Dollars, and Saved by the Bell. So while many children her age were still figuring out what they liked, Tori was already stepping onto sets and learning how television worked from the inside. Still, the role that truly changed her life came when she was 17. That was when she was cast as Donna Martin on Beverly Hills 90210, the hit series co-produced by Aaron Spelling's company. It became her first major role, and she stayed with the show for its full run from 1990 to 2000. During that time, she was nominated for 2 Young Artist Awards. While still starring on 90210, she also expanded her acting career with made-for-television films like A Friend to Die For, Co-Ed Call Girl, and Mother, May I Sleep with Danger. She also appeared in films such as The House of Yes, Trick, and Scream 2. By then, Tori was no longer known only as Aaron Spelling's daughter. She had become a familiar television face in her own right. But as her career grew, so did the public attention around her, and that attention would soon shape the next phase of her life too, when Tori's love life took center stage. As the years went on, Tori Spelling's acting career continued, but her personal life began getting just as much attention as her work on screen. While continuing to build her career, Tori met actor and writer Charlie Shanian while performing in his 2002 play, Maybe Baby, It's You. Their relationship moved quickly, and they were married on July 3, 2004. Their wedding was lavish, with reports saying it cost around $1 million. Tori's custom-made Badgley Mishka gown alone was said to cost $50,000. From the outside, it looked like another glamorous chapter in her life, but it did not last long. The marriage ended after only about 15 months. Looking back, Tori later said, "I went into the marriage with the best intentions, hopes, and dreams. But unfortunately, it wasn't long before those hopes and dreams became nothing but a fantasy." Not long after, another major turning point changed everything. In 2005, while filming the Lifetime movie Mind Over Murder in Ottawa, Tori met actor Dean McDermott. At the time, both of them were married to other people, but they began an affair the night they met. Tori's divorce from Charlie was finalized on April 20th, 2006, and less than a month later, on May 7th, 2006, she married Dean in a private ceremony in Fiji. Later, in her 2008 autobiography, Tori explained the decision in simple words: "I had to follow my heart." Ultimately, you have to realize that happiness is out there and not settle for anything else. Their new life moved fast. Their son, Liam Aaron, was born in 2007, and their daughter, Stella Doreen, followed in 2008. At the same time, Tori's public image began to shift. She was no longer known only as the actress from Beverly Hills 90210. She was becoming something else entirely: a reality TV figure, an author, and a celebrity brand. Books, reality T5, and a life turned into a brand. In 2006, Tori starred as herself in the VH1 sitcom So Notorious, a show that made fun of her own public image. Then in 2007, she and Dean became the faces of the Oxygen reality series that first began as Tori and Dean, In Love, and later became Tori and Dean, Home Sweet Hollywood. The show followed their life closely, including their attempt to run a bed and breakfast called Chateau LaRue in Fallbrook, California. In one unusual moment from that period, Tori even became a minister, so she could marry a gay couple there, and the ceremony was shown on the show. Around this same time, she was also building herself in other ways. Her fashion and jewelry line premiered on HSN. She released her autobiography, Storytelling, on March 11, 2008, followed by Mommywood on April 14, 2009. In 2009, she also returned briefly to her most famous character when it was announced she would reprise the role of Donna Martin on the 90210 spin-off. Then came another book, Uncharted Territory, in 2010. Speaking to people, Tori said, "I love sharing my stories and experiences with people and connecting to them on both a humorous and emotional level. The response to my first 2 books has been so amazing that I wanted to write a 3rd one for my fans." That line says a lot about what her career had become. Tori was no longer only acting. She was selling access to herself. In an excerpt from that same period, she described how strange it felt that her life had become public property. "My life is a show. Myself is my business. My name is my brand." She also admitted how hard it was to keep up with everything. She said she had love, family, a home, and work, all the things she had wanted. But trying to be a perfect wife, mother, and mini mogul came with real pressure. She called herself a workaholic and even compared that side of herself to her father, saying she felt in some ways she was turning into him. And then, just as her life seemed full of activity and success, the biggest family turning point arrived, when Aaron Spelling's will changed everything. Aaron Spelling died in 2006 after a severe stroke at the age of 83. At the time of his death, his fortune was estimated at $500 million, and in some headlines it was framed even higher. Because he had built such an enormous empire, many assumed his children would inherit a huge share of it. Tori expected a sizable inheritance from her father's estate. But what happened next surprised many people. Even though the estate was mainly meant to be divided between Tori, Randy, and Candy, both Tori and Randy reportedly inherited only about $800,000 each. That was a tiny amount compared to the overall size of the family fortune. Candy, who was the executor of the estate, received most of it, and the relationship between Candy and Tori was already strained. Tori and her mother were estranged for years. Randy was not estranged from Candy, but he still received the same reported amount as Tori. Candy did set up a $10 million trust fund for Tori's eldest child, but that did not change how stunned many people were by the inheritance itself. There were also reports that Aaron's estate plan had been changed just 2 months before he died, and Alzheimer's disease was listed as a contributing factor on his death certificate. Tori later said she met with her father before his death and that he truly believed $800,000 was enough for her to be set for life. According to reports, neither Tori nor Randy challenged the will, and one reason may have been a no contest clause in the estate documents. Instead of fighting in court, both had to adjust to a far more modest life than the one they had known growing up. That change seemed to hit Tori especially hard. Candy had once said of Tori's spending, "I never did anything like that. She just went crazy." As a teen, Tori thought little of spending $50,000 to $60,000 in a single store. Later, in her 6th book, Spelling It Like It Is, Tori admitted to financial problems caused by the cancellation of her reality series, poor real estate decisions, and a difficult 4th pregnancy that left her hospitalized for 10 weeks. She explained it by saying, "As my real estate obsession persists, it's starting to look more compulsive. Moving is expensive, and I've put us in a precarious financial situation." At one point, she even spoke openly on reality TV about not being able to afford Dean's vasectomy. Meanwhile, Candy put the Spelling Manor on the market in 2008 for $150 million, and it eventually sold for $85 million 3 years later. In time, Tori and Candy did reconcile somewhat, especially after the grandchildren were born. But even then, they both admitted they were still not close. And that is what made the whole story hit so hard. A daughter raised inside one of the grandest homes in Los Angeles, born to one of television's most powerful men, still ended up learning that being surrounded by fortune is not the same as truly having it. A growing family and a marriage under strain. As Tori Spelling's life moved further away from her early years as Aaron Spelling's daughter, her family with Dean McDermott kept growing. After Liam and Stella, they welcomed 3 more children: Hattie Margaret in 2011, Finn Davey in 2012, and Bo Dean in 2017. On the outside, that growing family fit the image Tori had tried to build for years. She had the husband, the children, the television work, and a life that still looked glossy from a distance. But the pressure underneath it was becoming harder to hide. In 2013, after the birth of their 2nd son, news broke that Dean had been unfaithful to Tori. The scandal became public in a very painful way, and it pushed their marriage into another difficult chapter. Dean later went to rehab for substance abuse and sex addiction, and instead of keeping the healing private, the couple let it play out on camera in the Lifetime series True Tori. Tori later explained why she felt she could not simply go silent and move on. She said, "This wasn't going away. Everyone said, 'This happens all the time. Look at all the A-list celebrities. They used to complain about it. Then they go on and do a big movie and it just goes away. That's not my life. That's not my relationship with my fans. That choice kept her in the spotlight, but it also meant the cracks in her marriage were no longer hidden. And even while trying to save that relationship, another battle was building right beside it: money. The work never stopped, neither did the bills. Even though Tori and Dean stayed in show business, the financial pressure never really left. Tori kept working, and she made it clear that work mattered to her not just for fame, but for survival. At one point, she said, "My husband and I work really hard. I'm constantly out there working. It's so important for my children to see that both their parents are working." But even with reality TV and other jobs, the money problems kept following them. In 2014, it was reported that the state of California hit the couple with a tax lien for $259,108 over unpaid state taxes. They had already sold a home at a loss in 2011, and the financial strain only kept growing. Around the same period, Dean also found himself in trouble over unpaid child support to his ex-wife, Mary Jo Eustace. He narrowly avoided jail time after eventually making a payment. Tori even stepped in at one point. In 2018, Mary Jo said that Tori had reached out and told her she would be covering the alimony because Dean did not have any money. Mary Jo said Tori made a few payments and told her, "I got it covered, no problem," before the payments later stopped. So while the public still saw pieces of a celebrity lifestyle, the reality behind the scenes was much less secure. And for Tori, that gap between image and truth had become part of the problem: the cost of growing up rich. Tori herself admitted that money was a deep issue for her. In her 2013 book, Spelling It Like It Is, she wrote, "It's no mystery why I have money problems. I grew up rich beyond anyone's wildest dreams. I never knew anything else." She went on to say that even when she tried to live more simply, she still could not let go of expensive tastes. She wrote, "I moved houses to simplify my life, but lost almost $1 million along the way." That one line says a lot about how hard the adjustment was. Tori had grown up in the Spelling Mansion, one of the biggest and most famous homes in Los Angeles County, and living normally after that did not come naturally. Randy Spelling later explained something similar in a 2015 interview. He said living in the mansion felt like fantasy, but it left him unprepared for adult life without the same level of financial support. As he put it, "I had my wings burned a little bit before adjusting to a more normal life." Tori's spending habits stayed in the headlines for years. Even after she publicly said she was broke and had borrowed money from her mother, she continued renting large homes, including a $16,500 a month rental in Lake Sherwood. Later, the family downsized to a $7,000 a month rental in Tarzana, but even that ended badly when reports said they moved out without telling the landlord and still owed back rent. And still, Tori kept spending in ways that made people talk. When the bills turned into court problems, the spending stories around Tori never really stopped. In 2014, she spent around $6,000 on daughter Stella's 6th birthday party at a spa in California, where each child reportedly got a makeover, mani-pedi, and organic facial. The guests also left with gift bags full of goodies. There were also expensive cars, beauty treatments, cosmetic procedures, and luxury vacations. Tori was seen driving vehicles like a Range Rover and a Cadillac Escalade, while Dean was linked to pricey motorcycles. She was also known for costly cosmetic work and high-end skincare. Even when the family image was starting to crack, the spending still looked like it belonged to another world. But by 2016, the numbers were catching up fast. Tori and Dean made headlines for owing $39,000 to American Express in unpaid credit card bills. Reports also said they owed around $700,000 in federal taxes, while court-ordered debt to American Express totaled close to $38,000. Candy Spelling admitted she was helping her daughter financially, but she also made it clear where she drew the line. She said, "I've been paying all her bills now, except I'm not paying extras like that. I'm not paying any back payments, just for the house, the kids' schools, and their food." Around the same time, City National Bank sued Tori and Dean over a $400,000 loan from years earlier. By 2019, a court ruled that Tori owed the bank $260,000, including interest. She was also supposed to sit for a deposition about her finances and assets. The money trouble was no longer rumor or gossip. It had become a legal problem. And through all of that, Tori still kept trying to hold on to a working career. Reality TV, comebacks, and staying in the public eye. Tori's answer to many of these struggles seemed to be the same thing she had turned to before: more work, more visibility, and more television. In 2011, Tori and Dean, Storybook Weddings, premiered as a spin-off, though it later faced a major lawsuit from writers who claimed they had created the idea for a similar show. That same year, she voiced the pirate princess in Jake and the Neverland Pirates, appeared in the short comedy Hoarder's Untold Story, and showed up on Big Brother 13. In 2012, she hosted My Little Pony, Friendship is Magic's Royal Wedding Special, and also became the host of Craft Wars, where contestants competed in crafting challenges for prize money. She even appeared on Yo Gabba Gabba in a Christmas special. In 2013, production started on Tori and Dean, Cabin Fever, a series about the family moving to a lakeside cabin in Ontario and renovating it into a vacation home. In 2014, she reunited with Jenny Garth for the short-lived ABC family series Mystery Girls. She kept going after that, too, doing voice work in Izzy's Way Home in 2016, appearing in Mother May I Sleep with Danger, hosting The Look All-Stars in 2018, and appearing in The Last Sharknado, It's About Time. In 2019, she competed on The Masked Singer as Unicorn. In 2020, she and Jenny Garth launched the 90210MG podcast, where they rewatched Beverly Hills 90210 and shared old memories with listeners. She later appeared on different international versions of The Masked Singer, and in September 2024, she was announced as a celebrity competitor on season 33 of Dancing with the Stars with Pasha Pashkov. So even when life looked unstable, Tori kept finding ways to stay visible. But the most personal drama of all was still unfolding in front of everyone. The marriage falls apart for good. After the cheating scandal, Tori and Dean tried to repair things and publicly acted as if they had found their way back to each other. There were even moments when rumors of another split seemed to cool down, especially when they were photographed being affectionate together. But the marriage never fully escaped the damage. In June 2023, Dean announced in a now-deleted Instagram post that he and Tori had decided to separate after 18 years together. Not long after, both of them started making headlines with other people. In October 2023, Dean was seen with Lily Kalo, and one source said it had become clear things were over with Tori. Then in November 2023, Tori was seen kissing CEO Ryan Kramer outside a Los Angeles hotspot, and the two were also seen holding hands before driving away together. At the same time, Tori and Dean were on fairly icy terms, but were trying to stay cordial. Dean later spoke out about the split and admitted that his alcoholism had affected his family. He also said he had completed a 40-day stay in rehab. On March 29, 2024, Tori officially filed for divorce, citing irreconcilable differences and listing June 17, 2023 as the date of separation. She asked for spousal support, for Dean to cover legal fees, and for sole custody of their children, though she proposed sharing legal custody. Dean later responded by saying they had separated in July 2023, not June, and he opposed her request for sole custody. He asked for joint custody and requested that she pay him monthly support. Then, in November 2025, the divorce was settled. The marriage was over, and the final agreement gave them joint legal custody of the 4 minor children, while Tori received primary physical custody. Dean received reasonable custodial timeshare. There would be no child support, and both parents would split healthcare costs and extracurricular expenses. It was a formal ending to a relationship that had already been falling apart in public for years. But by then, Tori's hardest headlines were no longer just about marriage, from the Spelling Manor to motels and an RV. After her separation, it became even clearer how far Tori Spelling's life had drifted from the world people once associated with Aaron Spelling's daughter. In 2023, her first husband, Charlie Shanian, recalled how devastated she had been years earlier when she learned how her father's will was structured. According to him, her pain was not just about the money, but about what the arrangement meant for her relationship with her mother. He remembered trying to comfort her by saying, "Remember, you once said you would live with me in a log cabin in Montana." Tori replied through tears, "I know, but I thought I'd do it with my money." By 2023, her reality looked very different from the life she had grown up in. She was forced out of her home because of mold and was later seen staying in a low-cost motel and then in an RV park with her 5 children. In 2024, reports said she and Dean still owed over $200,000 to City National Bank during their divorce battle. Around the same time, Tori spoke on her Misspelling podcast about storage units and the cost of holding onto things she did not even need, saying, "I just wanted to get my memorabilia and my kids' stuff." By 2026, estimates placed her net worth at negative $200,000. That same year, she also spoke openly about being sick for 8 weeks with severe sinus and ear problems, vertigo, and flu-like symptoms. She described it simply by saying, "It has been hell," and admitted there were times when her children had to help her walk to the bathroom. Around that same period, her co-host Amy Sugarman described her home as being at a borderline hoarder level after seeing a photo of the clutter. Even all these years later, Aaron Spelling's shadow still followed her. On her 90210MG podcast, Tori revealed how involved her father had once been on 90210, even requiring permission for major hair changes. In the end, her story remained caught between 2 very different worlds, the fortune she came from and the much harder life she later had to face. Do you think Tori Spelling's life would have turned out differently if she had received a much bigger share of her father's fortune? When you look at Tori's story, what stands out to you more, the pressure of growing up in that world or the choices she made as an adult? Share your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to hit like, subscribe, and stay tuned for more incredible stories from Hollywood's fascinating history. See you next time.